Hi, disciple. This is Jetsu, and on my channel, I talk about God, His Son, His love for us, and His Son coming back. And if you're new to my channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. And for those coming back, thank you for coming back to my channel. Today, we want to focus on one of the prophets, because sometimes, even in our life today, we get warning, not just the warning from the Bible, but we get warning in general in our life, and we don't take heed, and that can be detrimental for us because we don't listen. We close our ears to what we heard, just like your parents telling you about something, or your parents said, don't hang with these friends, or don't go to this place, and they older than you and they know, and even friends, they may tell you about something, but they told you and you just don't care to listen. And warning, this is why it's called warning. Warning is a prevention, and prevent you from anything. Could be not warning prevent you from something. Doesn't matter what it is. We must heed to warning or investigate it to see what it is first. But there are some warning that, for example, Jesus is coming back, and those are major warning that we should heed to. And a lot of us, millions of us, not heeding to that type of warning, and it's going to be detrimental for us, because at the end it's going to be a judgment, and it's not just a judgment for a day or 2 days. It's an everlasting judgment. It's going to be something that we're going to be enduring over and over, and that's why I said endurance is a long thing. So for you to be in that judgment for such a long time, with the punishment of the judgment, it's going to be really beyond severe, the punishment we're going to be getting. Because when God looked down on us, He's looking at us and He's saying, I create those people, and those people not heeding to my warning. They don't respect my Son. They don't respect me, the Creator God, and they don't respect my Son. So how they even going to respect the regular law of the land? Because they don't respect me, they don't respect my Son. They're not going to respect the law that apply to the land. They're not going to follow any laws, because they're not even following me, God, or my Son. So today we're going to look at Hosea. And Hosea was a prophet, and he was a prophet during the time. Hosea, he was from Israel, and he was the son of Beri, and I believe he was from probably, what we read, probably an upper class family, So he came, and he was young. He came on the scene during the time of King Jeroboam II of Israel, from what we learn, around 746 BC. So he came on the scene around that time, and if I'm not wrong, I believe Ezekiah and all of those other Asa king was around that time. But he came on the scene in Jerusalem, and that was about the northern kingdom, So he came around that time, and he was warning the people of Israel about the external threat. And the external threat was come from the expansionists, and they are the Assyrian. So he was warning them about, because like today, there's a lot of trade routes, and there's a lot of conflicts, or whatever the case may be. But in those days, there was not a lot of compliance to law in terms of the trade routes, taxes paid, whatever the case may be. There was a lot of conflicts. It was not polished out too much as it is today, even though today we have the same major problem, So he was warning them about the expansionist, the Assyrian, that's going to come over. Because back then, those countries, when they want a trade route, they're going to make conflicts with you so they can get that trade route. If you want a trade route from Jerusalem to Egypt, and another neighboring country is going to be there, and they need a trade route, they're going to create some form of conflicts or alliance with a country to conflicts with you, so they can be able to get that trade route. So Hosea was warning the people, and I should say Hosea's wife, it's kind of weird. Hosea's wife was of ill repute. She was an ill repute woman. Hosea wife. And so we learn little about her, but this is about Hosea. We're going to focus on Hosea. So Hosea was warning the people, but Hosea was using his own, kind of like he draw his own personal life into the warning of the people of Israel. And this is, he used like his own life to show like a metaphor of his own marriage, because he was talking about Israel as a marriage towards the people, and he teaches us. So his warning was about how God is merciful, how God loved the children of Israel. So he teaches us the mercy of God towards his people, and Israel did not care about God. They were doing their own thing. So that's what Hosea warning was about. He speak of God faithfulness to his unfaithful wife Israel. So he's talking about Israel as though he would talk about his own wife. So he used Israel as a wife. So Hosea was saying Israel, the wife of God is faithful to Israel, the wife, and Israel is unfaithful to God. So he kind of used a metaphor like drawing his own marriage into the warning that he was giving unto the people. So in Hosea 1 and 2 and Hosea chapter 3 verses 1, 2, 3 and so forth, all the verses we see Hosea is drawing his own family life into the warning that he was given to the people. And we today, like I said, we get warning and we still not heed into those warning that we get. So God loved Israel, the nation of Israel, the people of Israel. They were interested in their own self, what they were doing at the time, and God was trying to direct in them, but they were doing their own thing. Hosea 14 verse 4 tells us a lot of how the people were behaving that day. So the question is, do we know the saving power of God? Because back then, those people, I'm not going to generalize it, but I'm going to say those people back then, they were just like us today. They were doing their own thing. They were getting the warning from Hosea. Hosea came and the scene, he was talking to King Jeroboam II, and at the time, like I said, King Jeroboam II was ruling at that time. Even though, there was other king that was ruling, but we're talking about the northern kingdom. And Hosea was warning the people about their disorder, their disobedience. And he was warning them to telling them that the nation of Israel is going to fall into an anarchy. And an anarchy, when that happens, is the absence of government. The absence of government or a state of disorder due to non-recognition of the nation. So he was warning them that this is coming. The Assyrian is coming and Israel is going to fall into an anarchy. Without government, without anything. The Assyrian is going to take away. But they weren't listening. So like us today, we're not listening, and what's going to happen is when it come upon us. I'm talking about me, you, all of us, we get all kind of warning from parents, which this is just earthly warning, and we're not listening. And sometimes things have to happen for us to get the full picture and to say, aha, now I understand why they were warning me not to do this. Even sometimes in relationship, you may date a person, somebody may saw something that you didn't saw, before somebody, and they trying to warn you of that person, but you didn't listen. But sometimes, like my mom have to say, sometimes you have to in it to understand it. Sometimes you have to feel it, be through it to understand. But Christ's coming is not a in it to see it. Christ's coming is a prepare and a be ready. So you have to be ready, you have to accept it and be ready. Because if you're not accepted, which is the first step, and believe and be ready, it's going to come upon you. And when it's come upon you, there's no turning back. There's no choice. There's nothing. There's no time there now to get acceptance, because all of these readiness should have been prepared and done before the day. So Hosea was warning them that this nation you love so much, disobedient, unfaithful wife. Unfaithful wife. So he's trying using that metaphor of his own life in his warning. So his warning was a little bit different from the other prophets because he was using his own personal life as a metaphor into the warning of the people of Israel about the dim destruction coming unto them. And they weren't listening. And this is the reason why I said we cannot point finger at anyone when we ourselves, we too, we don't listen to warning at all. We don't listen to any warning. So, like I said, Hosea was warning. Some take the heed. Some take heed, some don't. And it's no different from us today. The ministers are warning. Everybody's warning. And some of us take heed and some of us not take heed. But I'm telling you, my fellow eye watchers and disciples out there for God, what's going to happen? We don't know where we're going to be. But we all, as long as we are alive, we're going to hear that crack in the cloud. Just like when we heard something, everybody run out their house. If you heard like a big loud sound, you run out to see what's going on. It's exactly what's going to happen. Jesus is going to take us by surprise. Whether it's going to be in the middle of the night, in our deep sleep, we all going to be awake. Those are alive. But the dead in Christ is going to rise first. But we all going to be awake. We're going to be wakened by what happened if we are asleep. Because like I said, we don't know what time is going to come, the hour of the minute or second or day. We don't know. It could be in the night. It could be in the day. But one thing for sure, we all going to do the same thing. We are going to be looking up. We all going to be looking up and we all going to hear the same thing. And a lot of people is going to remember when someone was talking to them that this is going to happen. But guess what? It's going to be too late when that happens. So, my fellow eye watchers, I just want to say, including myself, no exemption. We all have to strive for and strive to stay on that rugged road for those who already accepted and for those who did not accept as yet. Jesus' death, burial, and resurrection is the gospel, because back in ancient time, they were using lamb, unblemished lamb, to sacrifice to God. But mankind, the heart of man get evil, and mankind getting worse, and no one need to tell you. You're here on planet Earth and you see what's going on. The heart of man are getting wicked, and there's no respect for God. There's no respect for the law of the land. Nothing. So therefore, we saw what's going on, and we read it in the Bible, and we know what's going to happen for those who know already. So for those who don't know, eye watchers who don't know, I'm telling you, we're all gonna hear the crack in the cloud. So first you have to believe that God is the Father, and that the Father sent the Son, and that the Son died, buried, and resurrected. And once you believe that and accept that, and put away your oldish way, oldish attitude, everything, then you too can be on the rugged road. So until then, my fellow disciples, I just want to say, let us heed to warning before it's come upon us, before it's too late. Like Hosea was warning them, the Assyrian is coming, the nation of Israel is going to be an anarchy, and they did not listen until it's happened. So I'm sure a lot of them there was looking at, say, oh my goodness, Hosea was right. So until then, my fellow eye watchers and disciples of God, I just want to say, God first, man second. God first, man second. So if you like what you hear, please subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell, so whenever I upload something new, you're the first to hear. So until then, let us all take heed and warning. God bless. Thank you.